My sister slipped something into my drink at her anniversary party, her smile hiding a secret betrayal. Quietly, I swapped my glass with her husband's, and everything shifted. Hey Reddit, original poster here. 32F. Before I dive in, I've noticed this community has been slowing down lately. If you like these stories, subscribing is the best way to help us grow. It's quick, free, and means a lot. Now, here's what happened. I hadn't talked to my sister Lauren in almost a year when an invitation arrived. Thick cream cardstock with gold embossed letters, like forgiveness was something you could buy in luxury packaging. We were never close. Lauren had this knack for turning kindness into weapons. Her compliments always came with a sting. Her affection was never unconditional. But when she added a handwritten note, "Let's try again. Join us for the celebration," I hesitated. Maybe she'd changed. Maybe this time, she really meant it. I should have trusted my gut instead. The party was held at a sprawling estate just outside the city, gated with valet parking. Lauren had married into wealth. Kyle, her husband for 5 years, was a venture capitalist, polished, charming, wealthy, and clueless about Lauren's real nature. Or maybe he wasn't so clueless. Men like him are hard to read. When I arrived, Lauren met me at the door with open arms and a dazzling smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "You came," she whispered in my ear, her perfume overpowering. "I knew you would." It felt less like a welcome and more like a trap snapping shut. Inside, everything shone. Marble floors, glittering chandeliers, tuxedo-clad servers with trays of fancy appetizers I couldn't name. A live string quartet played softly. Kyle laughed among a group of business execs near the bar, looking every bit the golden boy. Lauren glided through the room like royalty, one hand always on a glass of wine, the other expertly navigating conversations. I stayed to the side, sipping my drink, trying to ignore the uneasy feeling twisting in my stomach. Then Lauren approached again. "Try the champagne," she said, smoothly swapping my half-empty glass with a fresh one she'd been holding. Her voice was sweet but forced. "You'll love it." I eyed the glass suspiciously. Her smile seemed rehearsed, her eyes unnervingly wide. I lifted the glass, then paused. Call it paranoia, or maybe just sharp intuition after years of dealing with Lauren. But I didn't drink. Instead, I lowered the glass slowly and scanned the room. Kyle had just settled on a velvet love seat near the fireplace, alone for a change, swirling his drink and looking bored. Without making a fuss, I moved over, laughed at some fake joke, and swapped our glasses while pretending to fix my shawl. He barely noticed. Lauren did. From across the room, her face flickered. That smile faltered just for a moment. Not enough for anyone else to catch, but I saw it, and it sent a chill down my spine. 15 minutes later, everything came crashing down. Kyle suddenly stood up, knocking his drink over. His hand shook. He muttered something incoherent and tried to walk, but his legs gave out. People gasped. Someone shouted for help. Lauren rushed to him in a perfectly practiced panic, but her face had gone pale under the makeup. He collapsed to the floor, eyes rolling back. Paramedics arrived quickly. Too quickly. Almost like they were expected. In the chaos, Lauren grabbed my arm. "What happened?" she hissed through clenched teeth. I looked at her, voice steady. "You know." She didn't say a word, just stared, jaw tight, breathing uneven. For the first time in years, I saw her guard slip. At the hospital, Kyle was stabilized. Doctors said it might have been an allergic reaction, trace amounts of something. Tests were still ongoing. Lauren played the grieving wife perfectly. Tears, tissues, the right questions. I stayed silent. I didn't tell a soul about the glass. Not yet. Because now, I had to find out why. That night, back in my apartment, sleep refused me. I paced the floor endlessly, dissecting every moment from that evening. The timing, her smile that hid something darker, the glass she handed me, the way she kept glancing at her phone. Something was off, more than I'd realized. The next day, I went back to the estate. Kyle was still in the hospital. The staff had been sent home. The house was unnervingly quiet. I didn't bother knocking. Inside, Lauren sat alone in the living room, a glass of wine in hand, staring out the window like she was waiting for someone or something. She didn't even flinch when she saw me. "You shouldn't be here," she said flatly. "Neither should you," I shot back. "What was in that drink?" She remained silent. I stepped closer. "You planned for me to drink it, didn't you?" "Not him." Still nothing. Just a look, as if I were a puzzle she didn't want to solve. "Why?" I pressed. "What did I ever do to you?" She laughed, a cold, hollow sound. "You always think everything revolves around you. Then who was it really for?" She turned away, her face unreadable. "You ruined everything," she whispered. "You have no idea what you've done." I waited for more, but she said nothing else. Just sat there quietly, sipping wine like the world hadn't cracked wide open. But her voice held something beneath the anger. Fear. Panic, even. This wasn't just family drama. I left before I said something I couldn't take back. That evening, I got a call from someone I hadn't heard from in years. Madison, Kyle's younger sister. She hadn't been at the party, out of town. But she'd heard what happened and wanted to get to the bottom of it. She asked to meet, said it was urgent. The next morning, at a quiet coffee shop, she got straight to the point. "This wasn't random," she said. "Lauren's been trying to get rid of Kyle for a while." My heart sank. "What do you mean?" She leaned in closer. "He's been trying to divorce her for months." She refused, threatened to ruin him if he left. Then they throw this big anniversary party. It wasn't celebration. It was a smokescreen. She slid a folder across the table. Emails, bank transfers, even a prenup amendment Kyle was fighting to undo. I stared at the documents, everything finally fitting together. Lauren hadn't meant to poison me. Her real target was Kyle, but she suspected I might catch on. So she used me as a pawn, gave me the drink in front of witnesses. If Kyle had died, she could have blamed me. Said I resented their marriage and wanted him gone. If I died, collateral damage. Just another sibling casualty. Except I switched the glasses. Kyle survived, and Lauren was scrambling. I looked at Madison. "We need to involve the police." She nodded. "I already talked to a lawyer." But that was only the beginning. That night, an unknown number texted me. "You're in over your head. Walk away before you regret it." Moments later, the doorknob rattled. Just once, like someone testing it. Then silence. Sleep didn't come again, because now I knew the truth. Lauren hadn't failed. She was just getting started. After that, I didn't feel safe in my own place. I wedged a chair under the doorknob, drew every curtain, and kept my phone close all night. Her words echoed in my mind. "You ruined everything. You have no idea what you've done." She wasn't only targeting Kyle. She wanted to rewrite her entire life. And I just knocked over the first domino. The next morning, I skipped work and didn't tell anyone where I was going. I grabbed the flash drive Madison had given me, packed a bag, and checked into a cheap hotel across town under a fake name. Maybe paranoid, but Lauren had money, influence, and no hesitation to use either. By noon, Madison and I were sitting across from a detective in a quiet precinct, laying everything out. Emails, bank records, prenup battles, and my story about switching the drinks. The officer listened closely, jotting down notes. I'd expected doubt, but his eyes sharpened when I mentioned Lauren's sudden invitation and how quickly the paramedics arrived. When I told him about the threatening message and the door handle rattling, He took it seriously. "Do you have security cameras in your building?" I shook my head. "Just a buzzer at the front." "We'll see what we can retrieve," he said. "If your sister's tangled in something bigger, we'll uncover it." But deep down, I knew it wouldn't be straightforward. Lauren was precise, calculated. She wouldn't leave clues unless she wanted to. That meant we were stuck playing by her rules, not ours. 2 days passed. Kyle stayed under observation in the hospital. Whatever he'd ingested hadn't caused lasting harm, but the doctors were still puzzled. Something rare, nearly invisible in tests. Then the detective called. They'd found evidence someone had tampered with the building's keypad around midnight. The exact time I heard the door handle. No face caught, only a gloved hand. Enough to raise suspicion, not enough to make an arrest. Then Kyle woke up, and everything shifted. Madison and I visited him in his hospital room. He looked pale and groggy but sharp enough. When I told him about swapping the drinks, his face went ashen. "She said it was a surprise anniversary toast," he muttered. I didn't think twice. He wasn't ready to accept it. But he wasn't shocked either. That spoke volumes. "She's been distant lately," he confessed. "Controlling." Then suddenly, she got unnervingly sweet. Found a burner phone in her desk last month. Said it was work-related. I didn't dig. Kyle handed us a notebook he'd stashed inside his gym bag lining. He'd been tracking odd things for weeks. Bank withdrawals he hadn't approved. Conversations she denied having. Items mysteriously moved around the house. Most telling, a bottle of unmarked pills that appeared one day in their cabinet without explanation. That was our smoking gun. The detective took the notebook and the pill bottle Kyle had hidden under the bed. They sent it for toxicology. 3 days later, the results arrived. The substance was linked to digitalis, a deadly plant toxin, rare and tricky to detect in small doses. Easy to hide mixed with alcohol. It was enough. Lauren was arrested the following week. The story broke in local news. Anniversary celebration turns deadly in poison plot. They left me unnamed, but showed her mugshot. People were shocked. Friends who once idolized her fell silent. Her social media vanished. Her law firm cut ties by noon. When I saw her next, it was at the arraignment. She avoided my gaze. Just stared straight ahead, jaw tight, as the charges were read. Attempted murder, fraud, possession of controlled substances. I thought I'd feel relief. Instead, I felt exhaustion. Lauren wasn't granted bail. Her accounts were frozen. Kyle's legal team quickly filed for divorce. He thanked me sincerely but with a weary tone, like someone who's lived beside a loaded gun too long. I returned to my quiet life, my small apartment, my routine. The world moved forward, but I didn't. Not entirely, because when your own sister tries to poison her husband, maybe even you, and covers it up as family drama, that kind of betrayal doesn't just fade away. But it didn't stop there. 2 months later, I got a letter with no return address. Inside was a single photo. Me, seen from behind, leaving the police station. On the back, "I told you to walk away." I reported it. The detective added it to the case, but there was nothing to trace. No prints, no day. And I realized Lauren might be behind bars, but she wasn't done. She never played the quick game. She played the long one. Revenge through silence, through patience. She was always skilled at planting seeds and letting them grow in the shadows. Still, I refused to live in fear. I changed my locks, installed cameras, stayed vigilant, because some stories don't end with arrests or headlines. Some stories just pause and wait. That's when I understood. With someone like Lauren, the real danger isn't what she'll do next. It's what she's already set into motion.